An attack on Saudi oil facilities. Was Iran behind it? And will there be a new war in the Middle East? This is America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Is war looming in the Middle East? I know, it sounds far-fetched, but that's really what some people are saying. Especially this guy, Iran's foreign minister.
What would be the consequence of an American or Saudi military strike on Iran now?
An all-out war.
So why are we about to go to war with Iran? Is it because President Trump abandoned the Iran nuclear deal? Or is it because the Trump administration labeled a branch of Iran's military a terrorist group? Or is it because Iran shot down a US drone this summer? Or because Iran is testing ballistic missiles with labels like Israel must be wiped off the earth? Or at least because Iran is a leading state sponsor of terrorism? Well, no, because there's a new reason we might be going to war with Iran. On September 14th, a drone and missile attack hit Saudi Arabia, targeting several state-owned Saudi Aramco oil processing facilities.
Saudi Arabia says 18 drones and 3 missiles were fired at one of the kingdom's biggest plants, while another was hit by 4 missiles. Both facilities were ravaged by fires, leaving significant damage that halved the crude output of the world's top oil exporter.
So who did it? Well, following the attack, the Houthis claimed responsibility. The Houthis are an Iran-backed Shia militant group in Yemen. They're one of the major players in the Yemen civil war, and Saudi Arabia is fighting them. If you need some background on that, check out the episode Yemen Civil War, Why is the US Involved? Okay, so is the Houthis in Yemen. So why would we go to war with Iran? Well, some think the evidence point to it actually being an Iranian attack. For one, the oil strikes were here. Yemen is here. So it's not super likely a poorly funded insurgent group in Yemen could have launched a sophisticated drone strike on the faraway northern side of Saudi Arabia when Iran is much closer and better equipped. Then there's the fact that Saudi Arabia says the debris proves it was Iran.
Preliminary investigations confirmed that these are Iranian weapons.
And if that's not enough, take it away, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
These weapon systems had ranges that could not have come from the Houthis. It is crazy for anyone to assert that they did. I mean, it is literally nuts on its face to make an assertion that this was an attack by the Houthis.
Literally nuts on its face. Like a squirrel. Well, Pompeo seems pretty certain. But even former Secretary of State John Kerry, who helped negotiate the Iran nuclear deal, has said Iran was behind the attack one way or the other. And so do France, Germany, and the UK. And those countries have a hard time agreeing on a lot of things right now. So there you have it. The US is on the verge of war because the Houthis attacked Saudi Arabia, but it was actually Iran that did it. Wait, why is the US involved again? Well, like everything in the Middle East, and frankly on this show, it's complicated. Why is the United States allied with Saudi Arabia, an oppressive authoritarian nation? There are many reasons. Oil, yes, but also a lot more, including being a balance of power to keep Iran in check. If you're interested in all those reasons, check out our episode, Why is Saudi Arabia a US Ally? Wow, we cover so many complicated topics, soon this show will be nothing but asterisks. Okay, so Iran is behind the attack, and the US supports Saudi Arabia. So does that mean the US is on the brink of war with Iran? Well, President Trump just announced new sanctions on Iran.
We have just sanctioned the Iranian National Bank. That is their central banking system, and it's going to be at the highest level of sanctions.
And the US has sent troops to Saudi Arabia.
In response to the Kingdom's request, the President has approved the deployment of U.S. forces, which will be defensive in nature and primarily focused on air and missile defense.
And the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, which is the military branch the US labeled a terrorist group, has made no mystery of what would happen should the US or Saudi Arabia strike.
Be careful. A limited aggression would not remain limited. We are after punishment and prosecution. We have shown this. We will continue until the full destruction of any aggressor. We would leave no corner safe. Consider this. Do not make mistakes.
I'm panicked. Are you panicked? I'm panicked.
President Trump threatens military action against Iran following an attack on the world's largest oil facility.
And it's clear that we cannot allow this devastating attack on Saudi oil facilities to go unanswered.
President Trump has gone from willing to meet with Iran with no preconditions to locked and loaded.
But fortunately, in the face of a media firestorm of war and impending doom, there's a voice of reason calling for calm. Wait, it's Trump? Apparently, when questioned by the press about whether he would attack Iran, he had this to say.
I could do it right here in front of you, and that would be it. And then you'd have a nice big story to report. And I think it shows far more strength to do it the way we're doing it. But I think the strong person's approach and the thing that does show strength would be showing a little bit of restraint. Much easier to do it the other way.
Yes, Donald Trump, master of the art of subtlety and restraint.
My new game is Trump the game.
Because it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether you win.
Yes!
Funny how a board game from 1989 feels just like geopolitics today. But whether it's through sanctions or the use of military force, President Trump is guaranteeing a win.
I think the sanctions work and the military would work, but that's a very severe form of winning. But we win. Nobody can beat us militarily. Nobody can even come close.
So why would Iran attack Saudi oil facilities now? Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin says it's a sign the sanctions are working. That became kind of apparent at the recent meeting of world leaders at the UN. The US has made it clear it will sanction any country that buys Iranian oil. And at the UN summit, Iran's foreign minister complained that now European countries were backing out of their promised commitments when they signed the Iran nuclear deal. As the New York Times puts it, Iran is now admitting how much damage the American-led sanctions have done to its economy, crashing the currency and turning a boomlet into a recession. And the new sanctions on Iran's central bank, labeling it as a financier of terrorism, basically make it impossible for any international institution to do business with it. That could even possibly ward off China. And Iran is feeling the burn. And with Iran's foreign minister predicting Trump's re-election, Iran may feel war is too risky and it had better negotiate. And so, America's war with Iran might just be one of those boring wars of words. Where's my nice big story, Mr. President?
I could do it right here in front of you, and that would be it. And then you'd have a nice big story to report.
What do you think? Leave your comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is supported mainly by viewers. So visit patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.